Just a little bit of a review. What's rule number one? Rule number two? Exactly the house rule, right? That's important for us because we play classical Chinese mahjong. But other places maybe play classical Chinese mahjong, but they play a little differently, right? They might only count fans, they don't count the base value. They might only pay the winner, the person that does the mahjong, and not the others. And so that will make that'll have an effect on how you choose to play your hand. And how strong you want to play to win versus how strong you want to play not to lose. So far you guys have been playing individual games. You're trying to win every game. Right? But when you go and play somebody someplace else, they'll either be keeping score on paper, by keeping a running tally on paper, or well, they'll play the chips, right? You start off with maybe 5,000 chips, and they will keep score that way. Does the dragon have a name? Right. Okay, we have to come up with a name for the dragon.
Hi. It's upside down. It's red.
Mints.
Okay,
It's the red dragon.
so that means you have to be cognizant of playing not just one game at a time or one hand at a time, but for the whole game, 4 different dealers at least, right? And then 4 rounds of each of the wind directions. So these have been improved, so they're going the right way.
Ah,
Okay. And he experimented some with the round indicators too. Okay. Meredith, have you seen this kanji for these? Yeah, I hadn't either, and Naomi hadn't seen it before, but Google Translate does choose, does translate as east also. So. Yeah. So you'll have at least 16 hands, right? You'll win some, you lose some. If you could win every hand, that would be great. But that's probably not going to happen. Well, if you go back, you guys remember what happens if the dealer wins, right? They retain the deal. If the dealer loses, it gets passed on. If it's a draw, it gets passed on unless the dealer draws that last tile, right? So because you choose from the flower wall sometimes for Kongs, it can change who draws the last tile. So if you win every hand, that's great. But if you're the average player in the group, that means you're going to win about 1/4 of the time. And so maybe you want to minimize your losses when you don't win.
My question is strange to me, but if you win every hand, that the dealer doesn't move, so you can't play 16 games.
It just takes a longer period of time.
Never played.
Right? So when you go someplace, you're gonna sit down and play, you need to commit to being able to play all the way through that whole game, right?
How
So-
long average is 16?
Depends how experienced the players are. I don't know, it can go really quickly. For us, we might be lucky to get 3 or 4 hands in an hour or something, right? So we talked about in the beginning of the game, you want to assess your hand. If it's a really good hand, maybe it's a limit hand already. Then you won, right? What kind of hand is that called? Hmm? Heavenly, right? Heavenly hand. You're the dealer, but if you get a mahjong in the first turn, earthly hand, right? And you might look at it and say, "Hey, this doesn't look so great. It's not connected at all. Everything is disjointed, and it's not going to make sets." So you want to start thinking, well, maybe I should be playing defensively. Right? So you look at the hand, say, is it a good hand, poor hand, and then maybe by the 4th hand, you want to reset your strategy. Maybe start off with a poor hand, but you got the right tiles and improve. So maybe you can focus a little more on offense. Maybe it started off like a bad hand and didn't improve at all. So definitely shift towards more defense. Same thing here, sorry, skipped ahead. Okay. So why would you want to play defensively? In other Mahjong variants, only the winner is paid. So if you can help the game become a draw, or the hand become a draw, right? There's no point scored against you. And that's it's possible to do that, right? You watch what people discard, what they keep, and then you choose what tiles to get rid of. Because when you're playing defensively like that, you don't need to keep the tiles for a hand. You can discard whatever to keep them from going out. You can completely destroy your hand, right? But in classical Chinese Mahjong, not only the dealer is paid, but all players settle among themselves. So you might want to make components of your hand, elements of your hand that will score something. Right?
But if it's a draw, to still score.
Nobody gets anything. So if it's a draw, nothing scored.
Is it possible for a non-winner to have more points than the winner?
That does happen, yeah.
And then you have more money.
Right. But the argument for getting the Mahjong, right, is that you settle with the three other players. They pay you. The three people are playing one person, right? But yes, it can be the case. Those two other players for the three people that they can get way more than the dealer. Right? I mean, you might be playing for a limit hand that has a bunch of pounds, right? Then you can possibly score more, right? So the important thing is to know those house rules. If only the dealer is paid, then would you play more defensively when you can't win? Would you play for a draw? If that's the case, or would you try and play and get the hand if only the dealer is paid?
Would it be the winner was paid?
Right, so only the person that declares Mahjong to be. So if that's the case, where they don't settle with the other player, would you tend to, if you can't win, you push more for a draw, right? Right? So, beginning of the game, you want to push towards making your hand. You're not as worried about discards because other people's hands haven't improved enough to maybe have a pair to declare a palm. That hasn't happened yet at the beginning, most likely. Right? But in the middle game, then their hand has probably improved a little bit, your hand's probably improved a little bit, and it's more possible if you discard certain tiles that they'll be able to declare palm or chow, right? Or kung even, right? So by the middle game, if your hand hasn't improved, you might then maybe fourth turn, fifth turn, you might want to focus more on defense again. And then in the end game, definitely if your hand has improved, definitely shift more from offense to defense. So beginning of the game, think more offense. Toward the end of the game, think more defense. And in the middle of the game, it can change depending on how lucky you were in terms of drawing tiles. So from maybe turn 10 or so, you want to start thinking, should I really be playing more defensively? Because a couple things can happen. Either you can go out, but the other players are also probably really close to going out. So that's when you really want to think more about stopping the three of them versus, making your hand work. So in any game, it's important to be flexible. Keep your mind open to possibilities. Any game, right? Because let's say you have something like this. It contains two sets of threes and some soup tiles. they're all the same suit. Let's say the other six are already, you already have two sets, and the other six files. So what are you trying for here? But yell it out.
Oh, gotta decide if it's gonna be a pair. So. Someone had wind up throwing out one of the.
Well, these are
one of
13
the
tiles.
sets. Yeah, yeah. That'd be fair.
You're gonna draw a tile, either discard or.
Yeah.
What tile would help you?
Seven. Seven. Oh, seven.
Evan?
Oh, yeah.
So most people look at it and they say, oh, I just need a six. Right? Because that'll give you an eye, six than the other two sets. But then someone with more experience says, yes, like Neil just called it a seven, right? Then you have a run of 5, 6, 7, you have a run of 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
and you have another eye.
Yeah.
What if you draw a 4?
With sisters.
Think, so 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, and a pair of an eye of 5,
Yeah,
right?
that's good.
What about a 1? So the point is, don't let your mind you fix to thinking, oh, I'm looking for a 6. That's all you're thinking you need. Right, or maybe a 1, a 4, a 6, a 7 will all help you. Right, all of these. So what happens here? Oops. What's gonna help you? Well, the obvious ones are 7s and 8s, right? 2 tiles of each of those. Are there other ones that would help you? So 5 would give you what? 5, 6, 7, an eye of 6s, and 2, 7, 8, 8. Almost, right? Would a 9 help you? Yeah, you have 2 runs in an eye of 6s, right? So again, the idea is don't get just stuck in your thinking of just 7s will help me, just 8s will help me, right? So 6s, so you wait for 7, 8, or 6 or 9, right? So 7 would do it. They give you a pung of 6s and 7s and an eye of 8s. 8s do the same thing, another pung with the 8s and the eye of 7, and the 9s, two runs, right? And the 5s, same thing. So the idea again, do not get fixed into thinking just 7s, just 8s. Keep your thinking flexible. Because people think, I've got to be lucky to get a 7 or 8. But they close themselves off to saying that there are other winning possibilities. And so you can actually be lucky in more ways than just the way that you think. So again, don't be rigid, only see some of the possibilities. In all games, keep an open mind and see all the possibilities. Okay, so beyond this class, not this Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that, I want to go to Fish Cake on a Wednesday night. If anybody wants to join me, right? What is it? You guys, some of you guys probably know better than this. It's like an incubator type thing, right?
Yeah, it's a combination. They have classes, pottery studio classes, they have kinds of classes.
Pop-up restaurant.
Pop-up restaurant, they have, they sell stuff like big type stuff. You rent it'll move. Yeah, and they added recently a Chinese mahjong. I haven't gone yet, but I've been wanting to go. So, what are you going? Yeah.
Not this Wednesday, but Wednesday after that.
Maybe.
Maybe, okay, good.
Where is Fisher?
It's near the old CVS that got closed down on Ward behind it. Behind it.
Oh, okay, got it.
We're gonna take that way there.
What's the other one?
So, they play at the Hawaii State Public Library System, the Eva Beach or Aina
Yeah.
Wednesday and Friday. So I want to at least visit those two and see what's going on there. I don't know if my Tuesday mahjong group would be open because they're already pretty much at capacity. I think usually 5 tables. But maybe,
What time?
what time for
Fish cake.
fish? I don't know. It's, you gotta look it up. It's in the evening sometime, right? It's the same women that put together that Chinese New Year thing at Homa. Honolulu Music Bar. And it was like $27 or something to play. Yeah. So that's what that is. Okay. Okay. And the other ones are free. Well, all 3 of these are free, right?
6 to 8.
Okay. So short and sweet, thank you. For inspiring me with your fervor to learn, right? Because you got the great.
Check the WhatsApp if I'm here on Saturday. And plus check the WhatsApp if I'm.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know the status of that. Are we, is she gonna give us this room
Sunday.
for, through this, the inter break too? Okay, so Debbie's saying that Carol's gonna give us this room
Okay.
before, until the beginning of next semester, and something's gonna be set up after that. So that goes from usually 9:30.
Yeah,
And what is the next term start, so I know this goes.
the first to the August 8th. June 1st. August
Oh,
8th.
wow. Hey, this room will be available at 9:30.
Right.
Okay.
Most
But-
Saturdays, so check the WhatsApp if I'm.
Down there.
Yeah,
So
I'm
yeah,
only
didn't-
going to Vegas one Saturday, but the rest of them I'll be.
I should be able to, so, right?
Unless,
So no doggy obedience class?
Yeah, it ends
Yeah.
at 9.
Tonight, okay. You never bring your doggy with you though.
I was thinking I should do it once because that other lady used to bring her dog. Forgot her name first. Whenever somebody yelled out the dog would bark and come to you, and you gotta give them a treat.
Oh, great.
The dog's even been to Hope's house.
Oh, yeah, she moved.
Oh, she's not here.
She trained her dog to be an assistant dog because she had diabetes, so when she
Yeah.
she did it herself.
Yeah.
So is there anything we need to discuss or review or something? I don't know yet. Yeah, we had this discussion at 11 o'clock. So, yeah, I don't know yet. Should we teach next semester? What should we teach next semester? Huh? Not that right, maybe 5, but what should we teach though?
Oh, you should first do your Monte Carlo then. And once you've got that tape, we don't want to mess that up. We want some good pictures back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So does the next semester start in August?
What's the June 1st, you said?
June first or August. So, can you just clarify that we have mahjong on Saturdays until June 1st?
Yes,
Yes.
except check the WhatsApp because I'll be in off island and one on Saturday.
Actually, I'm not sure. So what's Monte Carlo?
Probably on the sheet.
Oh, okay, I'm just, is this for?
Yeah, so he's something. Yeah, Carol wants to make it a SIG, right, special interest group.
Okay.
Which
For
means
next
that,
semester.
right, every semester, which means that you come here, you can play the American or Chinese, right? Is there anything else we need to talk about? Because Sharon wasn't here in time No, there's. No, there's, I think that's basically what we talked about before. Okay. So let's see. You guys know the basics of how to play, you know that when you go someplace else, you're gonna learn what their, especially what their limit hands are. That's really important, right? Because if you start off with that limit hand or you're a couple of tiles away, you want to be able to play for it.
So if we go to one of those places, will they have it like written down somewhere or is it on the board or you just have to ask?
You have to ask, the libraries do, someone has printed out the
Okay,
data,
okay.
right? I don't know about Fishcake, never been. And like the Tuesday group has it, but they don't actually distribute it, but now they're starting to, right? But as we've played more, we've added different limit hands to what they accept. Because they really didn't play any limit hands at all in the beginning. That group's been going for over 2 years now.
Where's that?
Right. So it's played in different places. Right now, it's pretty stable at Watermark. Right at the beginning, Waikiki.
Oh.
Yeah, so, yes, the classical Chinese mahjong taught by in the style of Myrtle Wong's family, which came from John Wong, what, how do you say it? The south east of China. And a lot of the classical Chinese rules that emigrated to New Zealand, to San Francisco, to other places on the mainland, to Honolulu here, they all play very similar rules. And so we play on Tuesdays by her, said, well, there's enough space under one of those cabanas for 5 tables. So usually there's between 12 and 20 people. One of the big draws is Dolly cooks gourmet meals. And then, you know, people bring sides to go along with it.
That's a day of time.
I didn't say what time. You guys, I don't know if they let all you guys come in. I mean, I could invite a couple people.
Okay.
That'd be okay. Are you gonna nominate somebody? So,
Parks and Recreation also is another place you can sign up for the summer session in May. Online.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, okay.
and go, like I go to Kilauea.
Uh-huh.
How was it? Oh, good,
Yeah.
because that might be nice.
Yeah, they have them at all the schools, but summer session's coming up and they have summer fun, so some places don't offer it. Right, but Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Recreation.
You're not paying spirit of folks.
Summer session.
Well,
Summer.
the ones I go are not the-
So she plays at Kilauea, she loves.
Right, okay, good. It's not that.
It's really.
Okay.
So what rules do they play by?
It's, Hong Kong, it's
Hong Kong style.
similar to this, but we use, Nicole's book. So it's Nicole Wong's book, the pink book.
Oh, okay. But her book, Nicole Wong's book is pretty, but it doesn't, it's not a complete set of rules, so.
No, it's not, but it does have. Like all the, you call them limit hands. And so.
So you guys play those limit hands, right?
Yeah.
So plucking the plum from the sea and.
You don't have to, like some tables, there's like 10 tables to play. And
Wow,
so,
and tables play on five.
some tables play for, no limit.
Okay.
Others play for
No limit.
like,
Play for
minimum 1 fan.
minimum 1 fan. So do they play base value plus times fans or just fans?
Face value plus.
Okay. Oh, good, okay.
So it's, I mean, sign up is great. And it's consistent.
So from watching you guys play, I've seen that you. See like you see an element. And you see how that can be improved. So I see all of you guys do that already. The big difference I see between playing here and then going someplace else is you're not thinking in terms of the whole game. Maximizing your winnings over so many hands. That's a big difference I see. And I haven't seen anybody play defensively yet. So, but I mean, that's harder to figure out though, right? But again, like we said, that if you have no chance to win,
Yeah.
you can never
exactly,
score that
then
many
you start,
lines.
yeah.
You can destroy your hand by playing whatever tile will not help their opponents.
Once you're winning your job, that's gone, you. Defensive, definitely.
So in preparing the course, one of the books I looked at was by Peter J. Tan. And his book was called Super Mahjong. And the idea was to focus chi properly. So maybe that's one way of playing. Somebody has the book on reserve at the library. But there's also been a number of other books that talk about all these other different styles.
Can you, review the fans?
View the fan.
While you're here.
Okay, no, it's so, again, it's on the website. Part of so I mean, this is the last class I have to teach this semester. But there's follow-up for every class, including this one right here. Because I don't think the web pages for this class are clean yet. And I have a lot of pages that are hidden. I didn't want to share with you guys yet. Okay, so where is this one right here? Here already.
Use your hand out.
Hmm?
I wanna make sure.
You gonna hand out, right? So I'm gonna.
Print it the right version.
I think it sounded like you did like really recently, so it sounds like you did, all right? So this is the website, this is one of the hidden pages, it's like my to-do list for the web page, right? So there's material for the 4 classes so far. In fall, we had the first Mahjong 1. This semester we had Mahjong 1, the Mahjong 2, which was strategy and scoring, and then the diaspora. And under basics, you can see on the right-hand side, all right? The ones that are shown are the game structure, play. So this is like what we did a couple times in this course, right? Stepping through on how to play a game, starting off by choosing seats, etc., all the way down, right? So what's the first thing we do before sitting down? You click on the arrow, down arrow. You choose seats, right? Etc. And then what happens next? That all the way down. Okay. There's a hands and scoring section. So all of these need to be cleaned up a little bit, but basically there's 3 different groups, right? The limit hands. There's the common hands, mixtures of chows, tongues, and kong, right? And then the all chow hand is kind of different, where you're trying not to score other points. You don't want flowers, things like that, right? So limit hands, the one that these are the ones that we play. And these are really similar to Nicole Wong's book right here, right? One that she has in her book that is not a common hand, it's a jade hand, right? But that one's fun. And not all the sets can do a jade hand because some of these will have red in them or blue in them, right? But I think if you can have just the blue and the green, that's okay too, I think, right? So common hands, base value, how to calculate base value, and then where's the fans? There they are, right? So the base values, all you have to remember is this right here, simple Pong and a simple Kong, right? And then double it if it's a noble, double it again if it's concealed, etc. Right? And then know the simple tiles are 2 through 8. Oh, you know what? I should go for. Don't forget. Let's see. The nobles are a little harder to use because some of them are the terminal tiles, like the 1s and 9s, can't be used in as many chows, right? And the winds and dragons. Okay, so we know the procedure is total your base points around nearest 10. If you're the one that gets the mahjong, get 30 more points. And then the fans. So what were the questions about the fans, Sandy?
Just, just I don't understand like, maybe the college. All of, like, you have the rocking song, we do sea flower, I don't think you do flower gardens. Maybe we can get flower gardens. And I don't want to go as deep as Florida with, you know, a seat. You know what I'm saying? So just, you just kind of review what they all need. I don't know, my views and schools that understand that.
Even-
Well, it's a lot to him to explain each line.
So yeah, they're still using the handout, right? The heavy for not recent, so it looks just like this right here.
And this is different than what I just printed out for the third time. You keep changing it.
It's the last thing you changed in about 2 weeks, you took it down 2 weeks ago?
That has, this was longer, but now that's not even on there anymore, so you changed it again.
Oh, which one is it? The.
Like 4 lines down on.
All Charles here and no point.
I'll print those again, but that's
Okay.
different than the one.
Well, I tried to make it easier to understand.
Yeah, that's fine, I'll print them
Yeah.
again.
You can say, sir.
No, it's fine, I'll just, it's every, no, I go back,
No,
I go back on the website.
So you have to do that. When you say change.
but most people, everybody has a smartphone, so you can just go straight to the website. Look at it there.
It's easy. The only thing is if there was a date, you know how to.
Oh,
put the
there is.
date?
Yeah, I don't do this one, see, last updated, whatever it is, so it's
Okay.
actually more than that, last updated,
It doesn't print, but,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so this one, yeah, last
I'll
updated.
revise it.
So about 2 weeks ago.
Now, the title of the website is just. Titles of the website.
Okay, let's do that, send out right now. Let's go to the top page. Link, copy link, and we'll send it to everybody, okay?
Mom, that one still.
Okay, that's it
What do you have in store for the rest of the class? Today,
for today. You guys get to play,
okay.
get to
Do
eat.
you have a suggestion? Can we like spot call on you? Like come look over our shoulder and say, is this the right one for this card? Or is that too
You
crazy?
can do that, or you can spot call in Alan or Neil,
Okay,
because they've been coming on Wednesday or Saturday, right?
Yeah.
And then though they're beginners, they've been, or Ed came yesterday, and they said Ed kept winning yesterday too.
I know.
We're just beginners.
Yeah, I didn't win one game.
Oh, okay, so maybe we need to talk about this part right here, okay? In one of the books, did I have it somewhere? I put it somewhere. Maybe it's in here, maybe it's here.
Yeah, it was on the by one favor.
What is this that you have on Kindle? Is it?
Oh, this one on the screen right now is Amy Lowe's, I think. No, not Amy Lowe, this is, her last name is North Whitney. North Whitney is the one for the fair. So on the website though,
There it is, it's bad.
they help me find references. There it is, okay? On the website, so I can make it, let's make it visible. So you can see it now. So these are some of the books. And there's like 5 more that I need to add here that I used for this class. This one is really good. Seth Brown's A Little Book of Mahjong. Okay. A lot of these books talk about both American and Chinese. And then someone will talk about the other variants like Hong Kong or Singapore or something, right? So Seth Brown's was good. Okay. It has a clear explanation of the American mahjong rooms in play. This is one that, so usually the last line is whether it's available or not available with Hawaii State Public Library. If you're interested in the history of mahjong, especially after it came from China to America and the what's it called? The National Mahjong League was started in the 1930s. This is how this game was made acceptable to people, because otherwise it was kind of a not a reputable game come from China. Opium, right, all that, right? The opium dens and everything, right? So they tried to make it, keep the exotic element, but they wanted to make everybody let everybody play, right? And the Jewish community latched onto that. They added the social components and the food, right? When he puts it, noshing, I'm not very. The food for noshing, non-eggs. And
So,
So-
have you found any online sites for Chinese mahjong?
I found only for the how to play, that sort of thing, right? They don't go really deep into strategy. There's some, but not a lot. And then when you look for the videos too, there's only a handful. I mean, most of them apply to American mahjong, but some of those are transferable, right? But yeah, there's not a lot for Chinese mahjong.
Mike, are there any opium dens? I've never heard of it.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. So where did you guys used to go to the opium dens and all that? Yeah, it's, I don't remember anymore. So I've got friends whose parents used to play in Chinatown. Right? And as kids, they just run around for the whole weekend. Because their mom or their dad was playing mahjong the whole time, gambling, right, for a lot of money.
My grandfather, would go to Chinatown, let's say that, and he would not come back for a couple of days. So he used to hang out.
Not now, right? Those are gone. Yeah.
That is gone by, that's like the 20s and the 30s, you know.
So you have to, on Bear Canyon Street, there used to be an art studio, Robin Bunton. Remember that one passed by all the time? He's down in Chinatown now. He's kind of downsized his, he turned me on to a book on Chinatown, Red Lanterns and Red Lights. And it's a thick book and it's really interesting. I haven't looked in there to find what he says about, the mahjong parlors upstairs. This is the same place where the servicemen would come to Hawaii and they go to the brothels.
Yeah.
In Chinatown, right? Of course. Your grandfather never did that, right?
Slowly down. What a speakeasy, no, he probably did, yeah.
Wow.
Never mind, yeah, he did the whole thing. Bootleg, and that's it.
Okay, so the brand new book in 2026 is is Mahjong for Dummies. And it's complete. It's really good. Yeah, that was good. So there's a line that I need to put in that one. Are we on? Yeah, we are. That one's available at the Hawaii State Public Library also. Okay. So one that is really good also is Amy Lowe's book. She has maybe 3 different books that are really similar, but they came out at different times. They changed the stress of different things, right? So hers is one good book. And so there's a couple right here, right? The Book of Mahjong, an illustrated guide, the complete book of Mahjong. And then I just told you about Peter J. Tan's book, Super Mahjong, which focuses on Qi, right? Louis Ting, this is a really old one, well, 1980s, right? It's out of print, but available at Hawaii State Library. And Eleanor Noss Whitney is the one that you saw on the Kindle, right? So it's not this book here, Mahjong House Rule from Across the Asian Diaspora, but another book. So some of the books they have as ebooks at the Hawaii State Public Library. The 2 books that we used the most were Nicole Wong's and Peter and Evelyn Wong, or Evie on the cover says Evie Wong, right? So she had the most complete set of rules in Evie Wong's book, but even hers was not complete. And there were situations where you couldn't tell what was right. So we play that if you have 8 stacks in the dragon's tail, right? Then the last tile is drawn. That's it, game's over, right? Draw. Right? So it could be the case you have 7.5 stacks, so that'll end it also. Right? But basically 7.5 stacks or 8 stacks. And if you get to that point, I think that's a draw. So things like that, she isn't real clear about what's going on. And so, and for whether it's 7 stacks or 8 stacks, both Nicole and Evie disagree about what's right. So that's basically what their families will play. Also, there it is. I'm not waiting for this one any longer. I got it as a book, an ebook, right? Right. And
It's not available at the library.
yeah. Certainly. Oh, and Debbie, there you go. What's the date today? The 19th?
Yeah.
At what time is it? In the morning sometimes, don't we? 11:53. Oh, neat. Hey, how are you? Yes, ma'am.
You have to repost,
You post what?
you just sent us the email.
Oh, yeah.
That
Oh, no.
update won't be on.
Yeah.
It will, it'll be on. Yeah, it'll be on, especially when I do publish, okay? So
Now,
now when you go to that site. Okay, so in that book, what page is it? Sarah, find what page it is. (151) in that book. Okay, so she talks a little in terms of simple defensive strategy. What she talks about is what cards discard first. So this might be a little different than what what you'd like to do, right? So in the beginning, most tiles are not dangerous to discard. As you get closer to the end, people are waiting for certain tiles. It becomes more dangerous, right? So she has it kind of ranked in how you want to discard them. So the first card you want to discard are the isolated tiles, the ones that aren't connected to your hand. And then the first ones are the isolated ordinary wins. So the only ones that are valuable to you are your wins, whether it's a round win or your seat win. Other than that, the wins are just ordinary. They don't mean that much. They won't help you score, right? So the ones that are wins that aren't your wins are ones that you may want to get rid of first, right? Then the second group you might want to get are terminals. Even though they might score well, they don't give you the flexibility to make hands quicker. So you might want to get rid of those terminals. And so you're looking at, if you have, like she talked about, if you have a 1, 6, or 9, you might want to get rid of the 1 first. Right? That's less connected, the other one right there. And then you might want to get rid of dragons. These are not as valuable as a beginner may think, right? They're harder to collect. You can only make pungs or kongs out of it, and you cannot use them for chows. So it's usually best to discard them early. Okay. And then after those, maybe special wins. You consider if you have to give something up, maybe get rid of the special wins. And then finally, simples, right? 2s through 8s of the suits, because those can be used in more ways than all the other tiles that we talked about already.
The wins, the non-seat wins go before the dragons? Why do you think those some people dragons? What is? You're saying that
Your seat.
Yeah. So you understand, yes.
we're not serious, and not see wins, then dragons, but then terminals, then dragons, right? So why do the dragons not go closer to the beginning?
I think they're both important. Okay, you look at the end of the game, in one of the later rounds. Dragons can be what people are waiting for. Those are dangerous when starting. Wins can be dangerous. But in the beginning, the beginning part of the game and the middle part of the game, it's less likely they will have those wins to pair up with than the dragon. So that's why she'll say, maybe get rid of those first. But you have to watch people and what they normally do. Remember we talked about not lining your tiles up in the same way every single time. Because it makes it easy, you know, you say, oh, this person also puts some nobles on the right hand side, they put the dragons on the far right, they put all their characters here, and they, so it makes it easy to figure out what they're doing.
Yeah.
So you not only watch that, but you also watch their demeanor. Some people don't have very good poker face.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's something that Peter Tan talks about also when he's talking about chi. You look at the person, do they look up or do they look down, you know, all that. Okay. So the more, for the symbols, even the ones in the middle, like 4, 5, and 6, are the ones that are more connected to everything else usually, right? Okay. And then she talked about the later disc, so later in the game, right? So until about the 10th turn, the best policy is to discard dangerous tiles early, because hopefully they haven't formed a pair or a pun that they can improve upon, right? And by the 10th turn, your tactics should change accordingly. Many tiles that were safe in the beginning, at the beginning, are now dangerous. Wins are more dangerous because now your opponents may have pairs of them. Terminals and dragons are dangerous because now someone may be waiting to complete his pair or her pair to go out. And simples are especially dangerous since every hand by now has elements for sets they want to complete. So you think about the early game, the middle of the game, the late game, and what might be dangerous to discard and what is probably safe to discard. So you guys already know that if somebody discards East Wind, then it's probably safe to discard another East Wind if nobody claims it, right? So think about the part of the game you're in and when you think about your discards. Okay? So what other questions were there?
Can we play now?
Yeah. Remember last week? I had a couple slides. Can we play now? Nope, we're gonna do this. No. Yes, you can play now. Yes. Ellen, what can we eat now? Huh? Cocoa Puffs, oh wow, from the Lehigh Bakery.